Douglas and Coffe. So we have to wake up on a Sunday morning when the country is finally realizing en masse that we, by mistake, by hook or crook, by mass media perception creating misinterpretation, misinformation, management, mismanagement of the EBC and the electoral process, by total nonsense, we have managed to elect the worst human being as a Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. We have to wake up and see Guardian Media Limited, the Answer Macau Group, one of the only corporations that has done brilliantly well under Keith Rowley's watch, while the entire country suffers from job loss, from economic devastation. The energy sector has been decimated, as illustrated on the motion on Friday in the Parliament, the private members' motion brought by Member of Parliament for Orapooch West, Dave Tanku. When you listen to David Lee, you understand that it is not by mistake that we are so poorly off. When ExxonMobil is boasting, stating categorically that they're going to move all their services from here to Guyana, and other companies are following. When Point Lisa is at its lowest ebb, when NGC made a loss for the first time in history, when these men who negotiated gas price are still trying to tell us that they did a good job, when everything before us shows that they're totally incompetent, we must wake up to Guardian Media Limited trying to sanitize a loser, sanitize someone who the population is fed up of. Keith Christopher Rowley, big front page, full page advertisement, interview, all sorts of nonsense, TV interview with Kamal Friendly, PNM Georges, and all he could say, every word in that interview is total nonsense. It flies in the face of truth. After a curtail 14-1 in Tobago, Keith Christopher Rowley tries to dump all the blame on the Tobago PNM Council, Tracy Celestine Davidson. Not him who led the charge, not the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, not the leader of the PNM, not the man who was in charge of all the funding, not Noel Garcia, not Keith Rowley who set up camp in Tobago, not Keith Rowley, a Tobagonian from Mason Hall who lost to Mason Hall by 700 votes. No, he is pumping and placing the blame squarely and separating PNM Tobago from him and his cabinet. Number one. Number two, he then blames the youth, that it is the youth that came out and voted, and they don't understand what gains they've made because them want to be pilot and rock stars and billionaires. So the youth in Keith Rowley's mind are stupid because they realize that he is a complete idiot and he has this country in a total mess, and that Tobago was disrespected like never before by him, his policies, his arrogant cabinet. He says that the youth are dotish. Keith Rowley, that's what they print, and he says this with a straight face. He said that Tracy Celestine Davidson should resign after losing. Well, Keith Rowley, you're Prime Minister. November 2019, you lost the local government election. You lost 15 burgesses that you had, and you lost a corporation. You scraped through with a COVID spike where people believed wrongfully through the media bias, media nonsense that they know now has become unraveled, that you were doing good in COVID. When you knew the truth is now that we are the worst, every single facet of COVID, you have failed. You have failed to keep the borders pure, clean, and locked down. You failed to keep the variants out. You've failed to provide testing, contact tracing. You've failed to get ventilators and ICU bed. The parallel healthcare system never existed and crashed and collapsed. We have spread all across the entire country. We have the highest death rate. The entire COVID-19 pandemic policy that you have implemented had failed. You lost a seat in the general election. Even with that, even with locking out 35,000 citizens out of the country, and you won a slim majority in two marginals by 2,500 votes. Now, then you went into a THA and you lost 4 seats to 6 all, and now you lost 14-1, and you are talking about if you lose, you must resign and let somebody else take the reins. Keith Rowley, you are delusional and suffering from dementia. He said that the policies also of the PNM have been great, but because they won so many elections in Tobago, the people just wanted a change for no reason. Not because the economic devastation, not because the economy of Tobago has shrunk by 28% over the last 4 years of your PNM reign. Not because you try to give away land in Tobago to your PNM friends and financiers. Not because you run roughshod over the chief secretary. Not because you have 2 PNM MPs who are useless and push forward a Tobago self-governance bill only to try and create 3 seats for you to gerrymander and steal an election. Guardian Media, you are sick. Why didn't you sit down and ask it, Rowley, what about your form? What about your Form B? You didn't fill it out. Do you feel the police coming to charge you? Do you think the Integrity Commission is going to investigate? What about that 468,000 personal benefit that is in breach of the Integrity in Public Life Act that you did not declare? Why did you not declare that? What is your position? Where and how do you feel about removing a police commissioner that the people wanted, who was working hard, by interfering, intervening, and forcing the president to breach the Constitution? What do you feel about that? That Trinidad and Tobago is in a constitutional crisis, an economic crisis, and a pandemic crisis, all under your watch. How do you feel to be the laziest prime minister in the history of Trinidad and Tobago? How do you feel that Anselm LeBron and other black leaders in the PNM realize that you are a double-stuffed Oreo and your policies are deleterious to the improvement and advancement of black people, that you play race card? You talk nonsense, and Guardian Media come to tell us that Rowley say he don't insult people. Rowley is the most misogynistic insult machine on a political platform. A man who spews lies out of his mouth at every chance, and you sit down there trying to sanitize Rowley after a catastrophe. Leave the man and let him wallow in his feces that he created. Let him wallow in the gutter after a flood with all the plastic bottles that washed down from the hills down into the sea, into the swamp. Let him stay in the gutter where he belongs. Don't try and sanitize him, Guardian Media. The people are aware of your media, and the media has been attacked, and you all now realize that Rowley is a dictator, oppressive and autocratic, but you come to sanitize a loser. Rowley lost 3 straight. By your recollection, by your advice, you should resign, blaming PNM, Tobago, and taking yourself out when you were in there playing golf, bouncing down a lady and not budging to see if she's all right. That cocktail is all on you, but there's more to come. If they're so bad and it was PNM and it was Tricky Tracy and not you, well, call a general election. Call it now. Call it even with your PNM EBC, the niece of a former sitting minister. Because when a wave of discontent, when the people reach a tipping point to realize what the problem is, and they know that the problem is you, Keith Christopher Rowley, you and your small pin must go. You will go. You can't call it because you're not a man. You're frightened. You're a little coward. You know amount of gerrymandering could work when the people have seen through the mass media and they realize the nonsense, the ignorance, the heartlessness of your administration, your disgusting selfish nature, your breach of the law, your breach of the Constitution, your lack of understanding of democracy. The people are ready for you, Keith Rowley. There's no more race, there's no more black and brown, there's no more black and Indian, there's no more nonsense, there's no more geographical discrimination. It is a wholehearted cocktail coming for you because the people are onto you. No amount of massage, no amount of Guardian media nonsense, no amount of trying to present a picture of you as a statesman. You are a disgusting human being, and the people are waiting for you. All of the people who could have had laptops, all of the people who have lost education, all of the people who bust tire on terrible roads, all of the people whose money is gone, all of the people you have taxed, all of the people who go in the grocery and cannot buy, all of those who did not get grants, all of those businesses that shut down, all of those employees that are being forced, all of those people bullied by your oppressive PNM police now are waiting for you, Keith Rowley. Don't hide. Don't hide. Don't pose for no picture like you some model. You ever check yourself? Go and watch yourself in the mirror. Bless.